Hi everybody, I am going to start working on my pouch, my March pouch. I'm very behind, it's nearly the end of March, that's just the way it goes. The tune for Kate's prompt is Midnight from Cats, and I haven't been able to get past just the first word, midnight, which is kind of, I just thought, midnight, what does it mean? And I thought, well, I just saw I haven't made a pouch in black and I haven't dyed anything black. So some of the words are smoky and stuff like that. So I was actually picturing dyeing a whole heap of different fabrics in a sort of smoky black. So I don't know if anyone can get a picture of that, but it's not a black, it's sort of that darkish grey. So I've picked out some materials to try it with. So I've got a bit of this, it's nice thick, it's like a cotton string, that's really lovely. I've got a few bits and bobs that I've found and picked out. Hopefully the washing machine is not too loud in the background there. So these are just all little bits of linen, tablecloth, scraps, a bit of packaging from a sheet set that was Lily's. So I don't know if it's going to just dye it all one colour or if we'll actually be able to see this daisy. It's all going to be a little experiment. I've only put in one doily because it can be cut down. Got some laces. Pretty little lace things. That one's already a little bit tea stained, so we'll see how that goes. So just a few varieties of laces, lovely daisies, love them. And also I'm hoping to get like a whole range of shades by using different types of materials, different patterns, different ready coloured. So this is a little bit of pink, very pale pink. So we'll see how it goes. It's a bit of, it's a satiny pillowcase. Lily got some new ones and threw out the old ones. She likes to use these because they're good for your hair apparently. I've got some ribbon, some strips of, that's poly cotton. Got quite a bit of ribbon. I've got a bit of thread. I'm going to try this doily and see what that comes out like. Some of that baby cloth I used on my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. The big piece that is now put aside for the time being. I've got a bit of ripped, this was a pillowcase with a bit of lace. So I'm going to see how this dyes up and this dyes up and the lace. Then I've got some bits like tablecloth, it's a damask, I'm not quite sure what this is. I just found a pile. I think it was from the lady whose husband went into the dementia ward and whose kids put her in the floor below or something. So I'm not quite sure what it all is. It certainly feels like it's a cotton of some description. I found a bit of furry material that is already sort of pouch ready. I don't know if it'll dye or not. I mean, I love this yellow, but I think I might cut it so it keeps some yellow, but I'm going to dye that and see how that goes. So yes, there's a bit more lace. A bit of this which was on the 1st January prompt with the underwater seascape. Bit of cheesecloth, got to always try a bit of cheesecloth. This was the thing I was stamping. This is a bit of poly cotton shirt. It's like a businessman's shirt. Not sure what this is. I think it's a cotton, but it's got a very sort of, I don't know if you can see it. It's got this sort of milky colour pattern on it, so that'll be interesting. I'm hoping with ones like this that what happens is that maybe the background dies and this printed pattern on the top stays and is colour fast, so it won't actually change colour, and then we'll have a much more pronounced pattern on it. So we'll see how that goes. A little bit of, don't know, I honestly do not know what half these fabrics are, but they're great for dyeing and background stitching. It's quite thick, that one. Got that. And this tablecloth, Lily picked up before she finished at the Bed Bath and Table. She picked this one up on sale, and I think those little cords that they come with are quite good. So I'm going to give that a go, and I found a very just plain Suffolk puff to try and dye. So that's where I'm at so far with my little pile. I'm going to be moving everyone around, so I'm going to move you now into the laundry where I'm going to make up the dye. Okay, I have got this black dye. I'm using the Rit which you use with the hot water from the tap. I'm going to fill it up. I'll just pause while I'm filling it because it'll be noisy. So it said 3 gallons, but I'm halving the quantity because there's not that much material. It says to add half a cup of salt to help with the salt always helps with the setting, and a little bit of dish soap. Not quite sure what that helps with. That was a pink rock salt. I thought it was going to be white inside the packet that I had. So now we're going to need, where's my little cup? Okay, so I've used the salt because that's for natural fibres. If it was for nylon, it would be use vinegar. So I'm adding 1/4 of a bottle to this much water, and I'm just, before I measure it out, shaking it up so that any sort of grainy bits or bits of colour that's sunk to the bottom are mixed in. Now this one's the pearl grey, so 1/4 of a bottle. It's a bit of an eyeball here. That's the grey. I'm going to start with the grey and work to the black, so I can just keep adding more black. So some of the lighter ones, so you can always try to see. Sorry, that light's a bit in the way. Let's do that a bit better. It's a very, very pale grey, so I don't mind having one piece like that, and it'll get darker. If I leave it in up to 30 minutes, it will get darker, but I want to work up to a darker dye. So I'm going to leave that as a very dove grey, and I'm going to add some black. Not a lot though, because obviously the black's going to overwrite it a bit. Right, what else have I got here? So some little bits might be good little testers. It's starting to get a smoky appearance. So I think what I'll do is work with my testers until I get a variety. I think actually my little Suffolk puff I want to be a bit lighter so it'll stand out on the background. Okay, well this one's got a bit of red on it. Oops. There's my Suffolk puff gone. There it is. So that's taken it a bit darker. really want to get some that are a lot darker. So I've got my little sand dollar here, one of my sand dollars I made, and I thought, oh, I'd like to just see actually how it comes out. Oh yeah, not bad. I'm just going to put some of these down in the sink just to sit. Bit of cord. I think the thing is even though this looks like a lightish grey, they're going to be in the correct tones, the tonal family. Oops. I'm putting quite a bit of black in now because I want it to be darker, especially ones like this, which have already got a lot of blue on. So we're getting a much darker smoky grey. That's what we want. All these materials are definitely going to take differently. I think I want, believe it or not, I want to put even more black in now. I might end up using all of that black. So here's the tester with this one. I wanted to see how it would go with the background colours and patterns and see if it actually, yes, that's what I thought might happen. So now we can really see that background. It's a bit browny grey. This might be one I put back in and leave for longer. Get the darker colour. Oh, that's getting a good black. It's always fascinating to see what things take and what doesn't take. Some of the little lacy bits. The satin ribbon, might just pop that right in the bottom and leave it there. A couple of bits of scraps. Right, so I'm going to put these bits into soak. Right, I want some of the lacy and the doily. This might take up a little bit too much room. So I'm going to dunk it and take it out. Oh, that's really gone dark, hasn't it? That's pretty awesome. A bit of string or cotton twine. Of course, it doesn't take long for me to get it everywhere, of course. Okay, some of these things. This bit of embroidery, doily. Alright, here's another one that's going to be a bit too big to leave in for slightly longer. Definitely getting very smoky. How's that lace? Dunk it a bit more. Get that lace happening. Okay. This one. A bit more. Now, I didn't get to cut this down, but it's now got bits all over it. Let's see what happens. This is very interesting. This might have a really interesting effect actually. Okay. What's it like? Alright, I'm not leaving that in. I'm going to leave those in for a bit longer and come back. Alright, I have let them sit for 30 minutes. And I'm going to just take these ones out. They're a lot darker. Look at that. That's what I was looking for, that smoky, midnighty colour. Give them a squeeze actually. I'm going to pour out the dye and give everything a rinse. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Look at that. Just turn that off. It's a bit noisy. I'm going to continue rinsing everything out and hanging them up to dry. Oh, that's interesting. That's a very, more like a green. Fascinating. And then I will be back. Just outside showing you how they're looking on the line. In the sun, some are positively purple. And there, look at that bright green. It's actually quite amazing how different everything is. And then you've got just a straight cotton that's what I was looking for, that black. But I'll let them dry and then I'll get them off the line and show you. Okay, I grabbed these off the line and some surprising effects. So this one that looked a bit tea stained has come up very green. The satin ribbon has come up very green. And I think what I'm going to do is put them aside. Just untangle this. Put them aside for another project. And this, when I put this in and I hung it up, it looked like an old terrible rag. Really, it did. The jury's still a bit out on it. It has got a greyness to it, but it's a bit more of a match for the greens, I think. It's not grey and it's not black. I think the yellow was so strong that it hasn't really taken any kind of, you know, darker grey. I probably should have put it in at the last minute and left it in with the dark black colour. So I'm not sure if I'll use that. But I just thought I'd go through, and I'm actually surprised how deeply purple a lot of these have ended up drying up as. But for me, still what I'm aiming for is that dark, smoky, midnighty kind of feel. So I'm okay with them. I was hoping they'd be a lot more black, but it's all right. I'm fine with it. There we go. I mean, they are sort of grey, and my lights, one's a bit white and one's a bit yellow, so the lights aren't making too much difference. Definitely these ones that were very dark on the line when they were hanging up wet have come up fairly, well, to my eyes, a deep grey purple. Let's see if I can fix this to the white light. That's the white light. No, still looking, I mean, it's looking like a dark grey or a purple. So, you know, all good and well. This is a little start of a pouch, the background for a pouch. This is the one that's the damask that has the, you can't really see them. I can see the pattern in the light of the flowers that were part of the pattern on the material. Not 100%. It's hard to see them. So the grey still is pretty grey in my mind. That It's that first one I did, which was Dove Grey. Little snippets. This was this one, and I thought that came out very dark, but as it's dried, it's definitely, I have no idea why I've got all the purples, but not black anyway. Definitely got some very grey ones. Love that pattern. So these will be cut up into little snippets. The silk pillowcase, which I think I actually said it was satin earlier on, but it's silk for the hair. That's got a bit of a greeny tinge to it as well. So I might put that with the greens. This pillowcase that had the lace on, once again, it's definitely going to fit in with a grey palette, but it's just surprised me how purpley they are. Not black. Nothing's black. But I'll use them. I'll use the snippets of them. This was a napkin, damask napkin. Here's the doily. The doily, that lace was very black when it came out. It still has tinges of black, but it's also got a sense of purpley grey. Fascinating. As an experiment of dyeing with the dyes, I don't mind it. It was great, good fun. So here's the other bit of the silk pillowcase. That's definitely rather green. What a mixture. So the white thread that I dyed is come up quite purple as well. So it looks like my pouch is going to be purples of the night with sort of slightly grey overtones. This is interesting, this one. These little specks look a bit red. It's as if there was some parts of the dye that didn't get mixed through properly. Either way, nothing's black, and I did use a black and a grey. So maybe the grey lightened the black enough that it just didn't come out black. Here's these lovely cute little bits of lace. They're all in the same palette, so I'm really enjoying that. They're all tones of the same colour, so they're going to work together. Most definitely work together. Cheesecloth. That was the one with the bit of red on, so that's interesting. A bit more of silk green. That's a very thick sort of, I don't know, it's like feels like a hessian or something. It's quite thick. I think that was a very heavy duty cotton, possibly even a hemp. That was a bit of shirt, and here was the blue and white. This was the dunk it in quickly. This was to leave it for 30 minutes. So even those have got quite a bit of difference in them. So this was the pale green, got from Rachel and Sarah. This was the Suffolk puff that was just antique white. It's now very pale grey. And this was my little sand dollar that I had a bit of pink blanket on the back, and I hand stitched this little design on, the sand dollar design. And I'm really quite happy with that lot. So I'm going to toddle off and get to making a pouch, and I'll come back in another episode with what my results are. And I hope there was something in there that you enjoyed and that you loved learning, and maybe even some inspiration to get some fabrics out and dye them yourself. why not? Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.